Breaking news tonight as a massive fire bears down on Mariposa.
Flames from the Detweiler fire nearly surround our crew, trapping them inside.
And as a town of 2,200 people scramble to pack up and get out, some say they're not going anywhere.
I've got a shop here and I refuse to leave it. I can't pull everything out. This is my life savings in there.
Now for firefighters, it's a race against the clock to protect the town. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Nikki Lorenzo.
And I'm Ty Steele. The Detweiler fire has exploded in size since sparking on Sunday. Around 25,000 acres have burned so far. 2,000 people have been forced from their homes. 300 homes are in the fire's path right now. And CAL FIRE says at least one has already been destroyed. The fire is just 5% contained.
We have team coverage for you tonight. Sinceri Tonsel is in Merced County, where evacuees are waiting out the fire. Eric Rucker has been on the front lines of the fire all day. But first, let's go to Fox 40's Dennis Shanahan live in Mariposa County. Dennis, what can you tell us?
No, we have ash falling down from the sky and fire burning down the ridge behind us. I'm going to fade out here and kind of set the scene of where we are. This is an intersection that I know will be familiar to a lot of people, especially if you've traveled to or from Yosemite. This is Highway 49 at 140. There's a Miners Inn motel here. There's a Yosemite Bank. There's a Chevron across the street. And on the ridge, just to our northwest, fire has already crested. That happened hours ago. Now that fire is creeping ever so slowly down the ridge. This just after people made a fast getaway. Air tankers make their final drops of the night just as the Detweiler fire makes an aggressive run, cresting the ridge northwest of Mariposa, overlooking the downtown area. As the flames begin creeping down the hill toward the community, the last of the evacuees make their escape.
Yeah, this is insane. We've never seen it like this. We've lived here all of our lives, and we've never seen a fire like this.
Aside from firefighters, law enforcement, and media, Mariposa is a ghost town.
I just came through. It's dead. There's no electricity. Power's out. I need ice. I didn't even think about it.
Well, we lock up, we do room checks, and make sure everyone's out.
This motel manager helps the last of her guests get out, a father and son from Germany who just returned from Yosemite to see the wall of fire creeping down the hill toward the Miners Inn motel.
Just get back and saw that nobody's here, and yeah, police control, and we just need our passport.
Oh, well, it's always nervous. You see the fire coming over the ridge, so hopefully they get the planes back up here and drop a few more before nightfall.
But by the time Terry Arabalo said that, the tankers were grounded for the night. It's up to the many engines and boots on the ground now.
They put an engine at my house, so I feel pretty good about that. So if the fire does come over and get close, hopefully they can control it.
Timothy Thornton hopes he got all the most important belongings out of his home.
Oh my gosh, that's the hard thing.
As he watches the flames creep closer to Mariposa just before leaving town.
It's not our goal to keep you out of your home longer than you need to be. We'll get you back in as soon as the area is safe.
Just a sinister sight to see these hills on fire. We know there are homes nestled back in those hills. You hope people have their defensible space. But let's focus on some good news tonight. Of course, humidity comes up at night, and those tankers hit these hills very, very hard with that red fire retardant as long as they possibly could. So a lot of these flames that are creeping down the hill are hitting that fire retardant. They're hitting, of course, this cooler, more humid air, and that is slowing the fire down. But still, the fire is heading downhill. I asked CAL FIRE, what is the biggest challenge on this fire? He said it is the grass. Grass as tall as a grown man. That is what they're up against, and areas that are very hard to reach from those boots on the ground. That's why the air support, once the sun goes up, will be so critical. Live in Mariposa, Dennis Shanahan, Fox 40 News.
Dennis, thanks so much. And let's talk more about the firefighting efforts. Crews attacking the flames from the air just before sunset tonight. The Detweiler fire forced Governor Jerry Brown to declare a state of emergency in Mariposa County. We're also learning it has destroyed 8 structures and damaged 1. 1,400 firefighters are on the front lines right now as they try to protect the town. Fox 40's Eric Rucker joining us now. And Eric, you're on the north end of Mariposa. What's it like where you are?
Yeah, so Dennis is on the north end of the town. If you were to go 4 miles north on Highway 49, you would land at this CAL FIRE station where we are at. Our perspective isn't a whole lot different, however, we are closer, but you can see this wall of flames. That is a series of flames that were on the other side of this hill around, I would say, 6:30, and then over the last 3.5 hours have made their way down. But the good news tonight, they will probably stay there, at least for a little while. Take a listen to CAL FIRE.
Based off of where this fire is right now on the hill, I would expect that it's going to back down. It's called a backing fire, which essentially means it's burning back against gravity, it's burning back against the wind, so it's a real low intensity.
Back here live now, you can see some of the heavy-duty equipment and the tractors making fire breaks, and they are planning for this fire to come down probably by the time that the sun comes up tomorrow. So they're trying to make sure it doesn't come any closer to this. So you heard the wind has died down. That's good news. That was absolutely not the case a little bit earlier on. If you would have traveled another 5 miles north on Highway 49, that's where myself and my photographer Larry were. We were surrounded with firefighters and by fires on both ends, and then the winds picked up and we had to get out. So all of that happening probably within a good 15 seconds or so, around 2:30 this afternoon, and this fire has been raging nonstop ever since then. We saw many homes being destroyed today. We saw trailers being destroyed. We saw animals out and about. So the numbers that you were just read by CAL FIRE, the official numbers of the structures burned, I have every right to believe that this is going to be far more significant and far bigger than what you heard. They just are conservative because they have to wait to check everything as far as the property goes, who owns the home, before they can notify that person. So that's why their numbers are a little lower. It will more than likely increase by the morning time. The flames, however, hopefully will stay up on that hill and out of the town. We're live just outside of Mariposa. I'm Eric Rucker, Fox 40 News.
Eric, we can hear that adrenaline in your voice. I know it's been a long day. Thanks so much for that report, and get home safe. Meantime, evacuations were ordered in the city of Mariposa, along with all feeder roads in and out of the city. And just added tonight, Colorado, Rancheria Creek, Sherlock, and Telegraph roads. Homes along Highway 49 from Agua Fria Road to Highway 140 are also under evacuation. Highway 49 is also closed north of Mariposa, and evacuation shelters are open to those forced from their homes tonight. A small animal shelter and Red Cross shelter are open at the Evangelical Free Church on School Road in Oakhurst. Cesar Chavez Jr. High School is also open to evacuees. That's on Plainsburg Road in Planada. And that is where we find Fox 40's Sincere Tonsel joining us live now after speaking with some evacuees. We've been filling for the families so far. They must be really having a tough night, Sincere.
They definitely are. You know, we've just stepped outside of the shelter space here as families are starting to lay down for the night. But as you just hinted, these will be restless hours for many. Spinning her new stuffed animal around, little Liberty, and her younger sister, Serenity, have no idea that where they're eating and playing tonight, a Red Cross shelter, is all because their family has lost both Liberty and Serenity thanks to the Detweiler fire.
Today, as we were looking around from our house, we could see the fire starting to crest over the mountain, Guadalupe Mountain.
That's what made Andrew Tyner decide he needed to get his wife and children and his sisters out of Mariposa as soon as possible. Fears confirmed by a mandatory evacuation that soon followed. 2-year-old Haley here, one of several animals they were able to get out from their small Burl Drive ranch and farm. While many fled to Oakhurst, the Tyners were one of the first families to seek refuge at Planada's Cesar Chavez Middle School turned shelter. Despite this threat looming over her home, for Chrissy Tyner, this is a no-fear situation.
So what's going through your mind right now?
Really just, I'm dependent on Jesus, and whatever he wants me to do, that's what I want to do to please him. And so if he wants me to be going through this, then by all means I want to, because that would strengthen my faith in him.
A strike team from the Sacramento area is on the way to try and reduce any trial the Tyners and any other family may have to go through, thanks to what's burning.
This is the structure protection engine. So what these engines will be concentrating on is going into neighborhoods and positioning themselves in such a way to save homes and structures if they begin to burn.
We're still holding on to our faith in Jesus. We would like to know more of what's going on, but you can only know so much. And you know, the firefighters are doing the best job they can. And you know, you just have to be patient.
Now, this shelter opened up around noon today. There have been about 10 families in and out throughout the afternoon, but just in the last hour, activity here really picked up as families have come to check in. Reporting live in Planana, Sincere Tonsel, Fox 40 News.
Sincere, thanks so much. Let's get a check of the forecast now. Christina's joining us, and hopefully this cooler weather will help firefighters. Christina.
Yeah, temperatures have certainly dropped quite a bit. And the other thing, as Dennis has mentioned, we are seeing humidities come up just a bit. Let's go ahead and zoom in into the actual area that we're talking about here and show you conditions obviously changing quite drastically, really, over the last few hours. I've seen the wind shift quite a bit. Right now it is a northerly wind, so it's pushing smoke and then also flames to the south. Gusts right now only to 10 miles an hour. And Eric Rucker was telling us that those winds had certainly calmed. Right now temperatures in the low 70s. So this will be obviously the coolest portion of the overnight and then into tomorrow morning when they can once again get the tankers back up in the air. As far as people living in and around the area, smoke is also a very big deal. This is actually from the National Weather Service out of the Bay Area. They put this out. This is the GOES 16 satellite. So this is an impressive satellite that went up just about the end of last year. This is 4 times the resolution of a normal satellite. And you can see here's the actual fire, and look at the amount of smoke that it is putting off towards Nevada. Just a whole lot of smoke and ash in this area. I know Dennis has said many times in this area tonight it is just raining ash. Because of that, there is an air quality alert from San Joaquin County stretching all the way into Tuolumne County, Mariposa County, and then also pushing south. But again, this will continue till at least tomorrow. As long as this fire continues to burn, though, I do think air quality, ash, smoke, it's obviously going to be an issue. Guys.
Christina, thank you. And we will continue to follow this fire all hour. But for the latest road closures and evacuation information, be sure to download the free FOX40 app on your smartphone and search for the Detweiler fire.
And fire crews are also busy tonight in Stanislaus County, where a 35-acre grass fire is edging closer to homes. Right now, the Wilms fire is burning near the 50s Roadhouse Restaurant in Knights Ferry. That's on Kennedy Road. It's off Highway 120. Families in this area are being asked to evacuate. We don't know how this one started, but there is no containment right now. We'll update you as soon as we learn anything new.
Now to chaos on the streets of Yuba City this afternoon.
CHP officers say one man is responsible for multiple carjackings, a kidnapping, and a crash involving 14 cars. It began on Highway 99 and Franklin Road, then continued to Bridge Street, and finally ended at Tharp Road and Highway 20. Fox 40's Nicole Comstock is joining us live now in Yuba City. Your update at 5. It was just hard to piece all that together. This is a wild crime scene, Nicole.
It definitely was, Ty, and CHP tells us that the suspect in this case does look like he has a history of mental illness, that out of all the 14 cars he crashed into, he is the only one who has major injuries. And after this crime spree, he will likely also face some major charges. This is what's left of the last car CHP says a 39-year-old man stole and then crashed in spectacular fashion Tuesday, weaving a pattern of wreckage through 3 Yuba City intersections.
Gets out of the transport, runs, starts GTA somebody's car, steals the whole thing, gets in it, chases down here.
All within a 6-minute window. CHP says he first stole his father's car, then carjacked 2 other drivers, including a Caltrans truck, kidnapped 1 woman, and plowed into 14 other vehicles in the process, including this green Lexus.
Pretty bad. I mean, my mom's had that car for a really long time, and so it's just to see her in that condition and them cutting the hood off of it just to get in to see her.
It was awful for Jeremy Atkinson, being called out to Highway 20 and Tharp. Here, his parents, Roxanne and Virgil, were trapped in their car at the end of the bizarre crime spree. He says his mother has a concussion. CHP says she's lucky to be alive.
Oh, it was rush hour, and right through the middle of Yuba City, there's a ton of traffic, there's a ton of lights. So any given time, there could have been hundreds of people involved.
Somehow the suspect was the only person who suffered major injuries. He has been identified as 39-year-old Clinton Harlan. CHP says he has a history of mental illness and may have just been released from a hospital in Redding, but they are still confirming the details.
He was running for a reason. That's the way I look at it.
And a lot of people were looking at it. For many in small-town Yuba City, where roosters usually roam the streets, seeing the suspect collide with cars at 3 intersections felt like something they'd see on the news in Los Angeles. Well, it might have that small-town feel here in Yuba City, but there were still plenty of people out here at the time that these 3 crashes happened today. A lot of people stuck behind traffic from those crashes, and a lot of people that could have been seriously injured, but who were not.
Reporting live tonight in Yuba City, Nicole Comstock, Fox 40 News.
What a mess. Thanks for the update, Nicole. Meantime, a motorcyclist is killed after a crash with a minivan in Ceres. It happened last night on Hatch Road at Stoneham Road. Police say the 17-year-old driver pulled out in front of the 28-year-old motorcyclist and the two collided. The motorcyclist was pronounced dead on scene. The crash, of course, is still being investigated. And still ahead, a family dog grabbed and killed by a coyote. Tonight, a Bay Area family shares their heartbreak and tells us what makes this case even more frightening.
My immediate reaction to put out the shrubs.
Plus, 2 Stockton men are credited with saving their neighbor's home from flames, how they prevented the home from burning.
And a Tahoe ski resort celebrated a major milestone thanks to Mother Nature. Still ahead tonight, the amount of snow that fell on Squaw Valley.
And a live picture now for you of the Detweiler fire burning in Mariposa County. 25,000 acres so far, 2,000 people forced from their homes. We'll keep an eye on it for you throughout the hour and bring you the very latest.
This portion of Fox 40 News brought to you by the Folsom Auto Mall.
Some new details we're following about the massive sinkhole in Florida that swallowed 2 homes. An engineering firm says one of the former homeowners knew about the sinkhole 5 years ago, but rejected a repair plan because of the $150,000 cost involved. Well, the homeowner decided to go with a cheaper repair option, but you see how that turned out. Now the sinkhole is some 250 feet wide. 11 homes have had to be evacuated, and cleanup could take longer than a month. Meantime, a San Francisco family is heartbroken after a coyote snatched their dog from their porch, killing her. Jody Kimmel was walking back into her house with her 2 dogs early Sunday morning. That's when a coyote grabbed her 13-year-old Shih Tzu, Bella. Kimmel and her husband then grabbed some flashlights and searched the neighborhood for the dog they rescued 8 years ago.
As we looked west down towards San Benito, we saw something laying on a neighbor's front lawn, and it was Bella, who thankfully was not ripped apart. You know, she was in one piece, just looking, like she was just sleeping on the front lawn.
San Francisco Animal Care and Control says coyotes have been living in the area since the early 2000s, and there may be as many as 100 coyotes living in the city. And now new at 10. Neighbors in Stockton step in to help flames inching towards a home.
The fire broke out early yesterday on Chauncey Circle. The fire department is now commending them for their quick thinking. Fox 40's Kay Racine reports tonight.
Burned leaves and melted keys, just some of what is left after a fire tore through some bushes and trees. A fire that almost took down this home on Chauncey Circle in Stockton.
Next door neighbor, they actually noticed a fire down the street. So we both headed over there.
Rick Amado says he and a neighbor saw the fast-moving flames. Instead of running away, they ran towards the danger.
My immediate reaction to put out the shrubs.
While Amado and the owner fought the fire, neighbor Alejandro Casillas called 911. Casillas asked us to hide his face for privacy reasons.
That this house was going to be gone and the guy inside would be gone too, because he never answers the door.
The fire so hot, so high, it damaged this light pole, but what it didn't do was touch this home.
So when I grabbed the water hose, I was able to put the shrubs out before they reached the house.
The Stockton Fire Department says when they arrived, the fire was mostly out. They say if it wasn't for Amado and the other Good Samaritan, this home would have been reduced to ashes and soot. Firefighters were so impressed with their work, they gave them a shout out on Facebook.
Oh, definitely would have damaged the house.
Amado says while face to face with the flames, he wasn't scared, he wasn't nervous. Trained as a soldier, he just knew what he had to do.
Well, I'm a military guy. I've been in the military for 34 years, so it was just immediate reaction.
It's kind of inspiring for other people because they can realize that not everyone in certain cities are bad.
Kay Racine, Fox 40 News.
And there's still quite a bit of damage, but again, the flames never touched the home. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
Squaw Valley Alpine Meadows celebrated a major milestone this season. The Tahoe Area Ski Resort closed for the season back on July 15th. That's the latest closing date in the resort's history. Why, you ask? Well, 728 inches of snow. That's the reason why. It fell on the resort this winter. That's equal to more than 60 feet of fresh powder while the slopes are now closed. Squaw Valley's aerial team will remain open throughout the summer. So all those shelves full of Christmas decorations seem a little bit less weird right now.
Yeah.
I think they're both weird, but after all that, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. All right, we are cooling things down tonight. Overall, that Delta breeze has moved in. It's really helped things. You can see today, even our highs came down. 96 for Stockton, 97 in Modesto. But man, yesterday we were in the triple digits. We're talking 106, 105 in southern portions. Sacramento yesterday, 102. Today, 93. So that's what happens when you add a little bit of Delta breeze into your forecast. 83 for Fairfield, 81 in Truckee. Now here's a look at kind of where we're headed this week. And it's all thanks to that Delta breeze. We're looking at temperatures near normal for the next couple of days, and then we are going to heat it up at the end of your 7-day forecast. So we'll talk about that coming up a little bit later in weather, but let's just enjoy. Tonight it has been packed on the Midway at the State Fair. It was really packed earlier, and I've just kind of watched this camera all night long. I know why. Finally, the Delta breeze is here. Why not? This is the night to hit the fair. Tomorrow night will be just as comfortable. Look at Sacramento, 60s, 69 right now, 72 in Stockton, 79 in Modesto, in Fairfield at 64 degrees. So much nicer out there than it has been. You can see Fairfield right there, even Marysville in the 70s. So overall, those temperatures have really started to come down. And in fact, compared to last night at this hour, 13 degrees cooler. No wonder people want to check out the fair. It's so much nicer out there tonight. 8 degrees in Elk Grove, 8 in Stockton, 11 degrees cooler in Roseville, 8 degrees in Marysville. I love seeing this as those winds stay with us tonight, anywhere from about 5 to 15 miles an hour. They're strong through Fairfield, so a nice cool start, believe it or not, to our Wednesday. But as I mentioned, all good things come to an end, and that means, yes, triple digits will return. I'll have details on when coming up.
All right, we'll enjoy it while it's here. Thanks, Christina. Another setback for Chipotle, why the chain was forced to temporarily shut down a location.
And will a parole board free O.J. Simpson? If you can see into the future, you can cash in. We'll show you how.
And of course, we're continuing to follow that breaking news in Mariposa County, where the Detweiler fire is forcing evacuations right now. More than 25,000 acres have burned so far. Hundreds of homes are threatened at this hour. You can see those embers burning beyond the hillside of this community here. We're going to continue to follow this. We'll bring you the latest right after the break.
When you're getting ready in the morning, you want news that matters from people you trust. Fox 40's morning news team is there to help you get your day started out right with the headlines people will be talking about, preparing you for whatever nature throws our way, and helping you have a better commute with Fox 40 real-time traffic. It's morning news done right.
We did have a hit and run in this area.
Cat don't care. Roma don't ever look at a calendar.
It's a very touchy subject for some of those brides. Yeah.
It's 20 pounds. And I'm benching it.
Watch Fox 40 News in the morning.
O.J. Simpson could be a free man, and people are betting big. Simpson's parole hearing is set for this Thursday in Nevada. He's behind bars right now, has been for 9 years after he was convicted of armed robbery and kidnapping. Simpson claims he was trying to take back sports memorabilia that was stolen from him. So far, most people are betting yes, he will be released. If paroled, Simpson could be freed as early as October 1st. Fox 40 will be there in Carson City for that hearing. Join us live for reports at 5 and 6 o'clock. Chipotle stock took a dive today after several people reported getting sick at a restaurant in Virginia. Chipotle's executive director says the restaurant was temporarily closed and had to be sanitized, but Chipotle stock plunged nearly 8%. This latest report comes after a series of foodborne illness outbreaks, including E. coli and norovirus. That was back in 2015.
Millions more viewers are streaming Netflix thanks to its lineup of original shows. Netflix added more than 5 million subscribers in the latest quarter, bringing its total base to about 104 million. The strong growth beat the company's own estimates. The vast majority of new subscribers are from overseas, and for the first time, their international subscriber base is larger than here in the U.S. Pizza Hut is hiring 14,000 new delivery drivers. The chain is adding about 3,000 full and part-time drivers a month until the end of the year. This is all part of Pizza Hut's new delivery system to better predict how long it will take your food to arrive at your door. According to the company, the new positions, they will be permanent. The sweet track for some real-life superheroes.
The little boy who's handing out smiles one donut at a time.
And the California State Fair is trying to repair its image after several videos of fights surfaced from Friday night. We'll tell you how they're beefing up security.
And back to Mariposa County right now, where the Detweiler fire has grown to 25,000 acres, hundreds of homes and thousands evacuated. We'll have a live report coming up next.
This portion of Fox 40 News is brought to you by Folsom Lake Ford.
And we continue to follow breaking news as the massive 25,000-acre Detweiler fire creeps closer to the town of Mariposa. So far, we know 8 structures have been destroyed and another was damaged. 300 are in the line of the fire.
And more than 2,000 people are under evacuation orders right now. We have Fox 40's Dennis Shanahan. He's been there all day. He joins us now live from the scene with an update. Dennis, what a day.
Yeah, what a day, Ty. And just since we last spoke to you a half an hour ago, it has definitely become more smoky here in the downtown Mariposa area, and the rate of ash falling from the sky seems to have increased as the flames continue to work their way down this ridge. Nobody wanted to see the fire, of course, crest this ridge. It is moving in a southeasterly direction, and there is a light wind, albeit a light wind, but it is pushing the flames in that direction down the hill. However, I want to focus on some good news again. I just spoke with a sheriff's deputy after our last live report, and he's not a public information officer, so keep that in mind, but he shared his perspective. He said compared to the behavior that he saw from this fire last night and the night before, this looks good to him. He was describing 50-foot tall flames just racing, and right now this fire, although it is impressive, it is laying down to a certain degree. We have the cooler night air. It is also hitting the lines where they drop that fire retardant with the tankers, so that is probably slowing it down. And that deputy also told us that the crews are out all night tonight, creating a very wide containment line to keep the flames on the side away from downtown Mariposa, to keep it from jumping toward downtown Mariposa. He also said there aren't a lot of homes in the area that you're looking at right now. There are a couple homes nestled in there, but on that ridgeline where the fire is very actively burning right now, there aren't a lot of homes. Actively burning, yes, but compared to the last few nights, a bit of an improvement. Also, he told us the hospital has a shelter-in-place order, not an evacuation order. That is some good news. They're not so concerned that they're telling all the hospital patients to have to be evacuated. So shelter in place there, but everyone who lives in this area definitely has to get out, and we've seen that. We are not seeing any signs of life tonight except the firefighters, the sheriff's deputies, the highway patrol, just making sure that nobody who isn't supposed to be here is here. We're live in downtown Mariposa. Dennis Shanahan, Fox 40 News.
Dennis, thank you. And we're also following the Maria fire burning in Calaveras County. According to CAL FIRE, it scorched roughly 117 acres. Crews are hoping to get the fire to more than 60% contained with the cooler weather overnight. Evacuation orders are still in place along Jesus Maria Road and Music Gulch Road along McCollum Hill. Meanwhile, firefighters are being warned by neighbors in the direct path of this fire. They say there are extra hazards stemming from illegal pot grow operations, which can put them in danger. Those living in the area say people in charge of these makeshift farms aren't aware of the existing fire risks and are also frustrated with a spike in crime.
This particular incident started out where everybody was mad at everybody, and then everybody was afraid of everybody. It's been blatantly obvious for the last 4 or 5 years.
Now, signs have been popping up in the rural neighborhood that actually point out the exact locations of these marijuana farms. County officials are reportedly so overrun with these illegal grow sites that all residents say they can do is wait.
All right, we'll get back to the fire coverage a little bit later tonight. But now this, you're taking a live look at the California State Fair at Cal Expo, and things are wrapping up for the day. I think this is the 4th day of the fair. It goes until the 30th, I believe.
I'm going to trust your word on that. The California State Fair is repairing its image, assuring the public things are safe there. This comes after several videos have emerged of fights and arrests.
And Fox 40's Doug Johnson is joining us live at Cal Expo tonight. Doug, what are fair officials saying about this?
Well, Ty and Nikki, fair officials are telling us tonight that they've had thousands of people leaving these gates over the past 4 days. And while there have been some small problems, they say the majority of people have left having had a good time. Videos like this one of a 15-year-old girl getting beat up last Friday have been a black eye for the California State Fair this year.
Don't let that person's experience ruin your chance to come and make an experience of your own.
That's why fair officials are reassuring the public that these are isolated incidents.
Majority of people coming here are coming to have a good time. You have a small select few who are coming here to create problems.
One of those problems may have caused a bicycle officer to break her leg at the fair on Friday.
Unfortunately, our officer was escorting an unruly person out. She's a bike officer. She tripped over her bike and broke her leg.
So far, the fair has asked many people to leave, although it says it does not keep track of the numbers. Hearing about those problems have many fairgoers telling us this.
Been reading the news, you see we're out of here before dark.
We come early.
They say they're trying to leave the fair before it gets dark.
Kind of the typical idea is that it happens later at night when more teenagers and like other people come.
Others like Jordan Sevilla tell us random fights come with the crowds. A few years ago, he witnessed one firsthand.
I've seen someone get knocked out. It's pretty crazy at the same time. You don't really want to see that stuff. It's for kids and family.
Still, most feel safe here.
I think as long as there's police and security around it, you know, there's not much you can do to control it. There's always that petty stuff that they fight or argue about.
Cal Expo says it does increase security during the busier weekend days. They're hoping to avoid scenes like this next Friday night.
If they don't leave on their own, they will be escorted out of the park.
Yeah, back out here live, we're told they are using a new security camera system out here, and you can see they got the metal detectors up, so they are making sure that people are not at least coming in armed. Meanwhile, we also hear that the California State Fair does confirm to us they had at least one arrest on Friday night, but they aren't saying what that arrest was for, and they aren't saying how many more arrests there have been. Reporting live at the California State Fair tonight, Doug Johnson, Fox 40 News.
Thanks a lot, Doug. Meantime, the fun continues tomorrow at the Stanislaus County Fair. Catch the Great American Pig Races throughout the day. Those start at 5:30, or you can get hypnotized if that sounds like something you'd like to do. And for the kids, there's a drone zone. And, of course, rabbit petting hours.
Dead in the water. That's the fate of the latest Senate health care bill due to lack of support.
I've been saying for a long time, let Obamacare fail, and then everybody's going to have to come together and fix it.
Republican lawmakers once again unable to get the votes needed to fulfill one of President Trump's key campaign promises. GOP leaders are insisting there will still be a vote, but at this point, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell concedes it might just be one to repeal the Affordable Care Act and replace it later.
We will now try a different way to bring the American people relief from Obamacare. I think we owe them at least that much.
But the political back and forth is worrying insurance companies. They have until late September to decide if they're going to be a part of the marketplace exchange. That's less than 2 months before open enrollment begins.
And we're gaining new revelations from the White House tonight. President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin had a second undisclosed talk at the G20 summit. A White House official confirmed this discussion lasted for nearly an hour. The White House has not released what was discussed in that meeting, but they do say any claims the administration tried to hide the second meeting is, quote, false, malicious, and absurd.
A little boy in Florida is making it his mission to give a special thank you to law enforcement officers.
He's going all across the country giving officers their favorite treat, at least the one we sometimes think of. 9-year-old Tyler is hand-delivering boxes of donuts to police stations. The self-proclaimed Donut Boy is on a 6-week trek up and down the East Coast. At one stop in Pennsylvania, Tyler got a special surprise from another caped crusader.
Cops are my best friends, and they keep us safe and they remind them that people still care.
It really opens us up when we see a 9-year-old that sees the importance of letting us know that we appreciate it.
It's a big job. His mother says by August, Tyler will have delivered more than 22,000 donuts.
Well, a heartbreaking loss for 2 brothers, how they ended up on the streets at age 84.
And coming up, the Delta breeze is here. Temperatures are dropping, but we know it's July. It's probably not going to last. I'll have details on your forecast coming up.
A young woman brutally raped and murdered. Almost 40 years later, how investigators are using DNA left at the scene to reveal the face of a killer. Will it be enough to solve who killed Robin Brooks? Wednesday on Fox 40 News at 10.
Welcome back to the story that's sure to pull your heartstrings. 2 local elderly twins. They survived Nazi occupation but are now facing another battle, homelessness.
Fox 40's Joe Khalil shows us why they ended up on the streets and how friends are trying to help.
For 84 years, twin brothers Clifford and Gary Kukok have done everything together. Survived Nazi occupation in their native Netherlands together, moved to the U.S. and worked in Hollywood together.
and now have become homeless together.
Right now I'm broke.
So you're just relying on friends to help you
Eat. Sometimes we don't eat.
10 years ago, they say they wanted to fix the roof on this Orangevale home, which the twins say they bought from their mother. It's been in their family since 1984.
We took a loan thinking that we had a conventional loan.
But it wasn't. It was an adjustable rate loan, meaning their payments got higher and higher over time. Eventually, they couldn't afford it. The bank foreclosed, and in October of last year, they were kicked out. The 84-year-old twins had nowhere to turn. They began sleeping in their car together. We asked if they ever felt overwhelmed.
I do. All the time. I would almost say hell.
Hell. The two say they spend most of their time now just walking. Both log plenty of hours at this Orangevale library. Gary mostly pores over deed records, trying to find a way to get this house back. But the odds aren't good.
They were just living in their car in front of Rayleigh's when I found out.
Aaron Herner's been a family friend for 10 years. He's been making a social media push to find them more permanent housing. The whole experience has given him a new perspective on homelessness.
And it's easy to walk by and not look at their situation, but if you stop and talk to somebody, everybody has a story.
And their story has certainly had its dramatic ups and downs, and at 84, they seem to have hit their most difficult chapter.
It's a little stretch.
It's difficult.
I'd rather go back to the war and go shot at in this crap.
Joe Khalil, Fox 40 News.
Truly heartbreaking. Clifford and Gary have been able to sleep a few nights with friends here and there. They say they're looking for a path to more permanent housing or any attorneys who have dealt with predatory lending that might be willing to look at their case.
One of the most anticipated concerts of the year is happening right now at the Golden One Center.
Bruno Mars brings his 24-karat magic tour to downtown Sacramento. He tweeted out this photo of him. There it is, and a couple of friends rocking their very own Kings jerseys. I think we'll have that picture. There it is. Fans of all ages were in attendance, and the opening group featured hometown favorite, the Jabberwockies. They rose to fame after winning their first ever So You Think You Can Dance competition back in 2008. But it's really hard for me to say 24-karat magic without singing it.
I know.
But I bet that was a great show. I've always wanted to see Bruno Mars.
I've heard he's fantastic. Yeah, that is one I wish I could see.
Yeah, and I think he should just do every Super Bowl.
I know, because
let's stop with Coldplay and all this other business.
Yeah,
like, just book Bruno and Beyonce and let's be done with it.
Gaga was good, though.
Yeah, she
Gaga was good. But yeah, no, he honestly, I think every age group liked him too. You know what I mean? Every generation can get behind the whole Bruno Mars show. All right, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about the fire that, of course, is still happening in Mariposa County. We've been tracking this all night. I just wanted to give a quick update because we've seen a little bit of a shift in winds. It's more moving off to the south and to the west now. So these winds continue to shift. But the good news is right now they are staying fairly weak. We're only seeing winds to 2 miles an hour with gusts to 8 miles an hour. So hopefully this trend will continue through tonight. But we are seeing winds shift quite a bit in this area. And we're likely going to see a whole lot of smoke and a whole lot of ash in and around this fire, but also pushing well off to the north. A Bay Area National Weather Service actually put this out. This is part of the GOES-16 satellite. You may remember it's the new satellite that was actually put up just late last year. This thing is impressive. The resolution is about 4 times greater, so you can really see that smoke and where it is heading all the way off into Nevada. Because we have a delta breeze, it's pushing away from the valley off into the higher elevations and then eventually off well to the east. So we'll just continue to watch this, but again, in and around this fire, smoke, air quality, it will be an issue. The delta breeze will continue though for tonight, so even cooler with overnight lows getting down into the 50s. Highs will remain near normal for the next couple of days, and then we're going to be hot again, just in time for the weekend. But tonight it is not hot at the State Fair. In fact, you may see a few sweatshirts out there tonight. The ride's still going. Overall temperatures, look at that in the 60s. 69 for Sacramento, 72 in Stockton, 79 in Modesto, and Fairfield right now at 64 degrees. As I mentioned, overnight lows down into the 50s thanks to that wonderful delta breeze. And then tomorrow, very similar to today, we will see a whole lot of sunshine with temperatures in the 90s. So that will be right around normal for this time of year. In the valley, those winds have come down just a bit, less than 10 miles an hour, but we're still seeing those winds strong through the Delta. So it will be a nice cool start tomorrow overall. The reason why we're seeing this is we've got an area of low pressure right now just into the Gulf of Alaska, but overall it's just meaning a nice little dip in the jet stream for us. We're breezy today, less wind over the next couple of days, but just enough I think at night. We will cool it down and our temperatures again will remain in the 90s. So tomorrow we're near 95 for Sacramento as far as Futurecast is concerned, and then we may see those temperatures come back down just a bit on a Thursday before really starting to climb Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The good news is, once again, even though it's going to get hot and we will see triple digits, it will be over with quickly. We will cool it down early next week. So here's your forecast in the Sierra. Again, a lot of smoke and haze possible throughout tomorrow morning. It may clear out a little bit in the afternoon. Foothills as well, likely going to see some smoke and haze due to all the fires, again, that we do have burning across Northern California, specifically that Mariposa fire. Right now it's pushing smoke to the south, but that could shift easily by the time we get into tomorrow morning. Along the coast, we're looking at 68 in San Francisco, and in the valley, we're going to keep temperatures in the mid-90s. Again, just about normal for this time of year. So downtown 95, 94 in Elk Grove, and 96 in Roseville. Here's your 7-day forecast. We will heat it up, as I mentioned, on Saturday and Sunday, but the good news is overnight lows stay cool, and we will drop those temperatures by Monday and Tuesday. Jim?
I don't see anything on there that anybody should worry about.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, Christina, when we come back, we're going to talk about the Kings and their new uniforms for the coming season. And the NBA is actually making a big change about which uniforms teams can wear.
And 9 to 5, the musical is coming to Sacramento. Coming up tomorrow morning at 9:20, we're talking to two of the stars from the music production.
Now, tonight's Atlantis Casino Sports Desk on Fox 40 News.
All right, imagine you are a celebrity. What would you do if someone handed you their baby for a picture?
Well, if you're Justin Timberlake, you get your Lion King on. Watch this.
Biggest picture.
That was just too easy for JT. That video was sent to us by a viewer who was at this past weekend celebrity golf tournament and brought his young son with him. And by the way, the guy providing backup vocals to Justin Timberlake there, that was two-time NBA champ and MVP, Steph Curry.
Pretty funny.
Pretty sweet videos coming out of that golf tournament, Jim.
Yeah, that guy worked hard to get somebody to take that
exactly.
kid. I saw that video before the clip that we aired, and he was like, yeah, would you take my baby? Would you take my baby? And finally, Justin Timberlake came back from the tee and went and picked up the kid. So pretty
nice.
cute.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Giants and the Indians and the way the Giants are going. I say, you know what? Forget about the ball game. Let's just take out the boat. Go around the bay for a couple hours, check the score on the radio. Giants here early on, down 1-0. Bottom 6, Buster Posey with a base hit up the middle, and Eduardo Nunez scored the run. Not much offense for the Giants tonight, not much offense either for Cleveland tonight. This ball game went to the 10th inning, tied 1-1. And how about this? Gillespie single, Span infield single, Nunez won it with a single. 2-1 in 10. Giants get the win. Ty Block a strong 7 innings tonight. A's and the Rays then. And if you're Chris Davis, forget about taking the first pitch. Just hit it out. First pitch he saw in the game tonight. Home run number 27 for a 2-0 Oakland lead. All right, here we go. A's led 3-2 in the 9th, and Santiago Casilla blew the save. I like Casilla. I liked him when he was with the Giants. I kind of cheer for the guy, but he is just not good enough to be a closer. He blew the save, and then he blew the game. Shane Peterson, game-winning base hit off Casilla. 2 in the 10th for the Rays, and they won it 4-3. Sorry, man. All right, quick look at the Kings' new uniforms for the coming season, and every team will have 4 different sets of uniforms. Here are 2 the Kings will sport. They are made by Nike for the first time. They are also adorned with that blue diamond patch. Look at Aaron Fox left shoulder. There are advertisements on NBA uniforms now, and the NBA is also throwing out the tradition of home team wearing white and the road team wearing dark. Starting this year, the home team will get to pick the uniform it wants to wear, and then the visiting team will have to pick one of theirs that contrasts with that one. Make sense? All right, Ty Lawson is either going to China to play professional basketball next season, or he's not. this story got a little confusing this afternoon. I saw a video with Ty Lawson saying, all right, I'm going to be playing in China. And then a little while after that, I saw a tweet from Ty Lawson that said, I have not signed yet to play in China. 10 points, 5 assists for the Kings last season. Didn't shoot the 3-ball well, though. He's supposed to play for the Shanxi Dragons, I think. So there you go. That's what I know about Ty Lawson. Not much. Manu Ginobili, close to signing for 1 more year with the Spurs. Those are the reports all over the internet today. He will turn 40 in 10 days. But you know what? I would take him on my team, especially the Spurs with Greg Popovich, and all those two have been together. What a leader to have on your team. 15 years in the league, all with the Spurs, and it looks like Ginobili is set to make it 16 in a row. And I have one more uniform story tonight, and this was bound to happen. Sacramento. River Cats will wear these uniforms, look at the hat, will wear these uniforms on the 29th of their game at Raley Field and then auction them off to fans. This is kind of a take on the farm to fork deal. This is like farm to field. Get it? Remember before the Kings first came here, a lot of people were talking about, and some people were serious about having a tomato be the Kings mascot. Well, we have Sacramento now at the River Cats game. Coming up, British Open, Royal Birkdale starts tomorrow. Major tournament, one that everybody wants to win, but don't call it the British Open. They don't like that. They say it's either the Open or the Open Championship. Excuse me. You know, there was a time when all we talked about before a major championship, like the British Open, was Tiger Woods. But Jordan Spieth doesn't think anybody will ever dominate golf again like Tiger did.
I doubt you'll see a dominance like that maybe ever again in the game. I just think, you know, guys are learning, guys are getting stronger, athletes are going to golf, guys are winning younger, playing more fearless, even in major championships. I wouldn't get your hopes up for a domination like that whatsoever.
Yeah, there are so many good players on tour now that the victories, I mean, it's hard for somebody just to win 1, 2, or 3 tournaments, you know, in any kind of succession at all. I don't think there's any chance that somebody's going to dominate. I know it was fun when he played, right?
Yeah,
whether you liked him or didn't like him, you knew if there was a big tournament and he was on top of the leaderboard or close to it, it was something you had to watch.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, he was so fun to watch. Just don't call it the British Open.
That's right. Don't ever.
All right, all right. All right, before we leave you tonight, we want to take you back out live to the Detweiler fire. We know 25,000 acres have burned so far. 8 structures have burned.
Firefighters are trying to protect the town of Mariposa. We're, of course, going to follow this all night. You can get the latest on our Twitter page, and, of course, we're going to have it on Fox 40 News in the morning for you as well.